Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. Welcome to my video on unpacking a standard. For the standard that I chose to unpack, it is from Next Generation Science Standards. They're the science standards that are used here for most public schools in Michigan. Um, so it is the standard that I'm doing specifically is going to be the high school Earth and Space Science Standard 1-3. So it's Earth's place in the universe. Um, I chose this standard because it was interesting to me, and I think the content would be appropriate for breaking down into five lessons more or less, and kind of covering the span of a week. Um, and so the big idea of the standard, the big the it's broken down into two parts really. Communicating scientific ideas, so making sure that students are able to communicate, and then making sure the other part of the standard is that students can understand how stars produce elements. So essentially, how stars help us produce, or stars produce certain elements on the periodic table, and certain lifespans of the stars that will produce different elements going up in atomic weight. And so the evidence statements for the standards are right here, and so you can kind of see how it breaks down the kind of verbiage and nouns of the standard itself. Um, it gets into some of the disciplinary core ideas and cross-cutting concepts, and that's a big part of this standard specifically. Um, and so again, so the standards, two big ideas: communicating. Can students use at least two different formats: oral, graphic, textual, mathematical, to communicate scientific information? Can they communicate a scientific idea? And on what you want them to be able to communicate is how stars and different life cycles produce different elements. The total number of protons and neutrons stay the same. And here, students can describe helium, small amounts of other light nuclei, up to lithium, formed from high energy collisions shortly after the universe is created, or universe expanded. More massive elements, up to iron, produced in the cores of stars, and supernovas produce things that are heavier than iron. Um, that would kind of, I think, the skills that are going to be needed to understand the standard, or to meet the standard. It's definitely going to have some scaffolding up in terms of just kind of understanding the Earth's place. Some of the middle school Earth science standards, understanding the Earth's place in the universe and in the solar system, and so on and so forth. And definitely understanding, here you can see where does it say? Yeah, right here, one of the bottom kind of evidence statements here. Electromagnetic emission and absorption spectra are used to determine a star's composition. So students having a knowledge, and if they don't, covering kind of the basics of the electromagnetic light spectrum, and then students understanding how that's detected through electromagnetic telescopes. And so yeah, that kind of covers the basis of the standard, some of the skills, some of the kind of prerequisite and scaffolding kind of that would have to take place for students to meet the standard. A project I think that would be appropriate for this would be, my mind went to some of the activities we did here in Teach Now, like students creating a group Google site, or creating a group wiki page. I think that would be a really, I just think, a good way for students to collaborate, learn from each other, and work on their communication skills. Absolutely, in a various kind of a wide range of different communicating skills. So, and I think the standard is it's kind of conceptual more than it is like quantitative. So I think that would be a great way for students to just be able to illustrate kind of understanding the concept in however they would see fit. And then assessing the students. The assessment, the kind of rubric and the assessment would really contain a lot of this here from the evidence statement that's just created off of the standard itself. So the evidence statements, these would be kind of, the basis of a lot of the lessons that would take place here for the 5 lessons. And so being able to assess the understanding of those, if students can or cannot describe those things and communicate those things. So I hope that kind of was pretty clear, pretty cut and dry, and I look forward to everyone's feedback in the class. So thanks very much, and we will see you on the next assignment.